Salvete omnes, salvete amici, nomen mihi est Decimus Aurelius Ingeniarius. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's session of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast. I am your host, Decimus Aurelius. It's great to be here for session 5 or episode 5 of our broadcast for 2022, where we have in the background, waiting to start tonight's session, 6 players representing 6 different factions in the ancient Roman Republic Senate. Very excited. We're doing well so far. I think there's been some good draws. The deck has been favourable, placed by the gods. But we have 2 active wars that the session will need to think about tonight. Now we're going to start tonight with the election of the consuls. There was a little bit of a hiccup at the end of last week. I think there was an ineligible candidate that was proposed, but that's an easy fix. So we're just going to redo that first proposal tonight under the auspices of the current consuls from the Corona faction under Tiberius Cornelius. So he'll lead us off when we first get in, and we'll continue on with our Senate session. So let's not delay. Let's get into the session. We're going to cross now to Tabletop Simulator, which is our VTT of choice. So stand by. We'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, here we are. We are now back live in Tabletop Simulator with the module from the Steam Workshop, thanks to Scott, Alex and the gang. So appreciated them putting this module together. And we are now in the Senate phase for turn 4. Let's do a sound check with our senators. Senators, give us a wave and a salvete.
Salvete.
Yay, lots of volume bars. Just checking we're going to get no echo. I've cancelled all the other audio channels. I think we're pretty good. All right, folks. Let's hand over now to our HRAO and the current Rome consul, Tiberius Cornelius. It is now your Senate. Over to you.
Thank you, and an unexpected console redux for me. So I shall not mess about at all. I'm going to nominate Q Fabius Maximus, Senator number 2A from the Manus faction under Quintus control, and to pair that console candidate with alias Senator number 14 from Solus. So let me see, I'll drop a nominee. And I'll open the voting. I'll start with myself, so 11 in favour. And I'll go clockwise, so to Marco.
Your mute, Marco. Where do you?
11 votes in favour.
And round to you, Marcus.
I'll place my 11 votes in favour of the proposal.
Round to you, sorry, Numerius.
That'll be 7 votes against the proposal, if I can drag it.
And Quintus, to you.
Quintus has actually just lost his connection, so we might pause for just a moment unless he dropped something in chat before he disappeared. If somebody wants to double check, we'll just double check. Yeah, he's just lost his connection, so he's coming back. We'll give pause for just a moment.
Cue the elevator music.
If you're willing, console, perhaps because he has. Oh no, he's coming back online. We'll be able to confirm his votes. Here we go. Stand by. Here he comes. He's coming back online. Quintus Octavius, you've come back to us. Very good. Give you a moment to come back in. Do you know what your votes might be at this point, Quintus Octavius?
I believe it was 2A and 14. So, what was that? I'll put 4. I have no clue what everyone else was, so just give me a second.
And
all right.
That's all right. I've added yours to the yay pile, and that just leaves us with you, Appius.
Thank you.
7 votes, nay.
All right, so the motion passes. Thanks, everybody.
All right. So while we put some ineligibility tokens away and some nominee tokens away, those new consoles, please have a discussion with each other now about who's going to be the who. Take your time.
Okay, so Quintus, I think, has we lost connection? Oh, he's just not visible. I think I'm pretty open to talk about this pretty quickly. I think given your senator's high military school, and considering the Carthaginians pressing the attack once more now, coming across from Hispania, that we would have you as the field consul, more or less, in preparation to prosecute said war.
I am happy with that. Yep.
Okay. I'll allow you to announce it to the Senate.
Alright, just give me 2 seconds.
He's just finished his load in. Very good.
Was
that was a good combat
Yeah,
reconnection
yeah.
there. Well done.
Yep, perfect timing. Alright, I'm just gonna redo the notes. So it was 2A. I'll fancy it up later.
He's just doing his notes.
14.
Yes. For those watching at home,
And
Quintus
then-
Octavius is our scriber who keeps records of all of our proposals that occur during the Senate. So he's making some notes on.
Was it
what's
just 7
occurred.
against?
It was 14. I think it was 2 lots of 7 against.
Yes.
2 lots. Okay, perfect.
Aurelius, you can return your vote from the nay pile.
Ah, thank you.
I'll play that up in a second. Alright. I would be happy to announce to the government and the republic here, because it's more of a republic, though some may call dictatorship under certain people's rule, that Aurelius shall be our Rome consul moving forward.
Thank you very
Hooray.
much.
All right. Yes, please, consoles, take your tokens and please update your influence accordingly. And just for the record, those watching along at home, yes, the previous consoles have received their prior console markers. We see the Fuscus being handed over to the new Rome console. Very good. And good. Yes, the new consoles receive their influence. Fantastic. Now, and we can subsequently take one of these from each of the factions to show who's the new Roman field console, respectively. There you go on the dice.
Yep.
I like that feature that Poached Trout in chat has put in. That's very good. He only reminded me of that a little while ago. I'd forgotten all about it. There we go. Cool. Well, we know how this ship runs. So, Marcus Decimus of the Solus faction, it's now your Senate.
Thank you very much. So we'll continue to go down the required business for the Senate phase. I'll go through point by point to ensure we don't miss anything. Pontius Maximus appointments. We have a senator already appointed to that position. We go through to appointments of any dictator. We do not have 3 or more active wars, and no single war is above a strength of 20. So we are not eligible for a dictator. We'll go into the censor election. I'll have a quick look around.
Okay. Start by putting your ineligibility tokens out first, perhaps. That might make things good. And I can assist with that as well, just to make it easier for you to see as well. So,
well, I would just look for the prior console marker, correct?
that is also another way. There we go.
Except for the repeat one, or did we work out that repeating is fine?
No, you can't repeat.
Can't repeat. Okay.
Sensors. Yeah, I'm pretty sure sensors
You
can
can
repeat.
repeat. You
Are you
can
sure?
repeat
I
the
thought we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
that issue. I thought we had that issue last year where we
Yeah,
voted.
it's only
for
No,
something.
no, no.
consoles that can't. Consoles
okay.
can't until a
Okay,
law
okay,
card
yeah,
comes
okay.
out, but sensors may repeat. Yeah, look, even Poached Trout's backed us
Yep.
up. So, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Good.
Yeah, because if you remember from last session, I was censored 3 times in a row before. I
Right,
was killed.
exactly.
Yeah, but I thought that wasn't allowed. Wasn't that happened last year?
There might be a law
No,
that
I-
has come out. I can't recall if there's a law
No,
card that
there
restricted
is
it.
no law which forbids it.
No.
No. There's
There we
no
go.
law.
So,
There you go.
Appius Rufus is confirmed as well.
In that case,
It's etched into his memory.
I'm going to place forward a proposal that Flavius, number 7. I'll put the nominee token down. Will be elected for this year's censor. I'll hear from the Corona faction first for their vote.
7 in
I'll make
favour.
this one.
Sorry, 11 in
You
favour.
already named
Marker, I'll hear your vote next.
Unfortunately, I think she's lost her connection, so she'll be in the process of re-establishing her
Okay.
connection at the moment, I think.
I'll be happy to return to her vote later.
Okay.
And
Hello,
I'll
can
go-
you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
We can
I can
hear
hear
you.
you.
I can
I don't know
Can
if
you
anyone
hear
else can.
me, Marker?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
can you hear
reconnect.
Decimus? Because I can hear her.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Maybe it's a me thing. Maybe I need to do a reconnect. Let me do a reconnect, folks. Stand by. I'll be back in a tick. But you guys keep going on.
Okay. Is I was going to ask, can anyone not hear me? Let's just do a quick raise of hands if you can hear me. That might be the quickest, easiest way. All right, so Marker can't hear me, so I'll try disconnecting as well and reconnecting. I shall be back.
While the console's
Right.
gone, let's yeah.
let's corrupt this government, guys.
Yeah, what can we do is behind his back real quick.
We lost another one, did we?
Yeah, he's just
I can't see you.
Hang on, I'm gonna enable my video. Stand by.
Okay.
There we go.
Can you actually hear us or not?
I can hear you all. Yes.
Yes,
No,
I
no,
can
I
hear
don't mean
everyone.
you.
Marco, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear everybody just fine.
Good.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Marco, I am hearing your vote for the current proposal.
I was going to vote 11 votes against. I want Papirius to be censored.
Okay. Aurelius, I'll hear your vote next.
Yep, that is. Oops, sorry. That is 7 votes in favor, I guess.
Quintus, I'll hear your vote next, please.
I shall put my 4 votes in favor.
Paris, Rufus, I'll hear your vote, please, sir.
7 votes nay.
And I shall place my 11 votes in favor.
Alright, the vote passes.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Scriber. Let us hand over the censor position. As well, I will hand over the Fuscus to the current censor to take over the current Senate.
Okay, I'm not going to make any prosecutions, so you can take that sticks back.
Thank you very much, Censor.
Did the censor receive his influence?
I will do it now, but everybody can put their corruption markers away.
Thank you very much, Censor.
Thank you, Censor, for your kindness.
Wow. Again, another round with no prosecutions. Amazing. I think all the other groups that I've seen that play ROR would be yelling at the screen right now. Yeah, look, boats drowned. Oh, caramba, no prosecutions yet again. The Republic is absolved of all their sins, yes.
You got to keep your friends happy.
Got to keep your friends happy, yes. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
All right. So the next phase of the Senate is going to be discussing governors. I believe we have no provinces that require governorships to be fulfilled, and no governors ready to return. And I don't see at this stage any requirement for such members to return. I will move on to the next phase. More or less open for other business at this stage. Additional requirements have been fulfilled. If we have a quick view of actually at this stage, I'll open the floor for the field council to give an update to the Senate of the current status of Rome, as well as our opponents afar.
Alright, brief of that cut out, but I got told about an update about Rome, so we'll see what I can manage here. Right, so currently looking into the state of the Republic at the moment. Our people, while they may seem a little uneasy with how we are handling things, they are currently not resilient about our rule and control over this Republic and society. We are managing to keep our enemies at bay while we are trying to fulfill our lands with success and riches so we can maintain this order among our people. We are currently having people magically disappear within our factions, which is a shame to see. It's would help if people would stop killing people. And hopefully, moving forward, we will be able to see more growth and beauty within the Roman Republic. I'll hand it back to the magistrate of our consul.
All right. Thank you very much, Field Consul.
Excuse me. Excuse me,
Yes,
Consul.
Aurelius?
I just wish to assign a priest, if that's all right, which I believe is within my right.
Of course, you may go right ahead.
Yep. So the Pontifex Maximus is going to be I don't know what the word is, bestowing, frocking a priesthood
Frocking.
on
Like frocking.
on Julius of the Corona faction.
Very well.
Where's the? And that's all.
I think we'll
Is that
also.
the censor?
No,
No.
the censor is oops,
Yeah, okay, there he is. Yeah.
Fulvius. Their names are very similar, so.
It's just it was covered the name.
Yeah. Where's the priest token, by the way?
I've just dropped it right in front of your faction. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And what's that do for Julius? Anything?
Influence.
Flip the
Plus
token
one.
over, it'll tell you.
All right.
1 influence, 1 battle vote. So we have a look at the current unrest level. We've got a +1. I don't believe that's a terrible place for us at this stage. The treasury overfloweth, and we've received no good or bad events over the last year of Rome. So there's not a lot to consider from that side of things. The Carthaginians have raised their ugly head, so we have quite a considerable war to discuss during this Senate. We also obviously have a current Illyrian revolt, but considering the strength of the Carthaginians, my current feel of the state of the world is they shall be the most pressing matter we should attend to, as well as their rampaging effects upon our farmlands. I'm opening the floor to the stage if anyone would like to raise or discuss any other business we would like to discuss.
I did send you a message in chat, but that can be seen to later.
Very well. All right, if there's no other raised thoughts on other business, let's just go on to a deep discussion on prosecuting the upcoming year's worth of war. Our current field consul is the result of a powerful Senate's family, most brilliant military mind, and possibly the most greatest military mind Rome has seen so far. With a military strength of 5, this will be an excellent time to prosecute any large war. When it comes to our current fund, our current active pool, I want to have a quick look at that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 regular forces and 1 veteran. So we've got a total current strength of 14. And I believe that will mean we can raise an additional 5 legions, if I'm not mistaken. We currently have 2 disbanded veteran legions. So to bring those back, we would either have to completely fill up our resource pool and then raise them as generic legions, or consider talking to the favored senators to raise the veterans back themselves, which I don't believe either of the senates would have the required 10 talents to do so.
And they're not consoles.
And they're not consoles.
Can I just ask a quick question about that point?
Sure.
If we were to pay for the legions back, does that have to be money on a senator? So it has to be on the senator.
Personal treasuries, that's correct. Yeah.
Just want to make sure. So I guess that's something to keep in mind.
Yep. So I don't think anyone would have any negative feelings towards prosecuting the Second Punic War. We require a fleet strength of 5. I know previously we've discussed ensuring that we have at least twice the amount, but our field console does have an ability that would halve all losses rounded up. So I want to go through the idea of what is the minimum required of fleets raised, even in the result of a disaster. What would then be that amount? So let's say that's half rounded. So we would halve what the amount we would lose, then round it up. So
It'd be 3 total we would lose.
yeah. So let's say we were 8 then. So if we halve the 8, that would go to the 4, would normally be 4 in a disaster, then halved it would be 2. So 8 would go down to a 6, which is still well above it. So that's if it's a 7, halve the 7 equals a 3.5. Round it up
Is
would be 4.
So half.
So 8 would be what we want to raise in this case. All right. So we got in the back of our mind, we should consider 40 talents to raise fleets. Now, so that brings us down to about 119 talents, and then I believe we discussed approximately raising 5 legions. That would bring us up to more or less the force cap before we have to start recruiting the regular veteran legions. So
what's the force cap?
25.
Oh, it is 25. Maybe I was thinking 20. My mistake. In that case, I think we're well and truly under the force cap.
There's 10 legions left in the bag.
Yep. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Then in that case, we can more or less raise what we require. So our current legion strength is 14. Let's just have a look to see what our math says if we would raise an additional 5. So that gives us up to 19, and that gives us approximately a 2/3 roll, which I think is about the cap. So stalemate was obviously like rolling like a 3, like the maximum lowest possible value. Let's see if we add another 1. That's probably all right. So 21 gives us the best possible roll ever, and not raising an additional 2. So that's the difference between 5 or 7. So if we did our maximum, let's say 7. So 7 and 4 is 110
We would need to raid
talents.
6.
All right, so we would have the treasury to raise basically the forces required that in a disaster we would still prosecute the war, and it would give us the best possible outcome when it comes to the land battle. Now, the difference between 5 legions and 7 legions is only 1.85%, extremely low number. So I think that's probably the point that I'm interested to hear from the floor is, given that the coffers floweth over, what is the value of 1.85%?
So, sorry, just looking at the current calculator, how many is this extra that we're currently talking about buying?
Currently, this is 5 additional legions.
Okay, yep.
So I'm interested in discussing the difference between 5 additional or...
Oops.
Oh,
Just
sorry, I think lots of people are clicking. I'll stop clicking. So currently with 19 is 5. The difference between 5 and 7 is an additional 1.85%.
Are you factoring in the veteran legion there as well?
Yes.
And I guess what's the treasury go down to if we go for the higher amount? What's the final number?
It would be total.
We would raise 6 fleets.
6 and 4. Oh, 6. Yep,
So
sorry.
Six fleets to get our total of 8, so we don't have to worry about it being
there'll be a
unprosecuted.
total of 110 or 130.
Okay.
course, like getting closer to 130, that only gives us 29 talents left. So that does, even with the coffers flying over, that's a fair chunk. So do we save the 20 talents and lower our chances by 1.85%?
I think it's 1.4%, isn't it?
So the risk is all in the disaster.
Victory goes
standoff
from
numbers,
68
really.
to
Yes. Currently,
Yeah, they
Yes.
don't
the risk
change.
that you can't mitigate is the disaster and standoffs.
Can that just? And I don't suggest this because I think it's necessarily the right course of action, but I will just flag that we have Scipio Africanus, who will be due to return to Rome next turn, and that his special ability is to nullify those exact numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that kind of makes that's pretty tempting in the sense that it's currently about 1/3 chance that we fail this, which I think is going to be a big blow, especially if it's a disaster. We lose a lot of our legions. We're just not going to have that money to rebuild.
So let's go through that idea as well. If we were to lose, let's say we stopped at the 19 strength, so that would be a total of 18 legions, with one being a veteran. That's how we get up to the 19. So a disaster would halve that, so 18 down to the 9. Then it would halve it again to 4.5, rounded up. So we would lose
5
legions, 3 fleets. So about 80 talents we would lose. We prosecute the war, which saves us 20 talents.
Yep, that is
So
correct.
it brings us down to 60 talents. So basically, rolling the dice, as well as rolling the dice on the life of the field console, is worth 60 talents. With that kind of value, I think it's probably worth rolling the dice, as well as we do kind of know that there is another leader in the deck, so it does have a chance to strengthen over time.
Did you compare the alternative already? No, you didn't compare the alternative to prosecute the other war and how the chances are there.
Or both.
I don't think we would have the talents to prosecute both. We could allow to maybe more riskier and prosecute both.
My suggestion was only to show the chances for prosecuting the other war.
Sure. If we were to prosecute the other war, let's just keep the Legion, because I think we would have a near overwhelming view sending our forces there anyway. 5, total of 17, so a 95%. So it really, again, it'll just come down to the disaster and standoff numbers when it comes to prosecuting the revolt.
Yeah, but these numbers are significantly lower.
Yeah, agreed. It also removes the drought effect that's plaguing our lands, and this would create 2 provinces, which will continue to fund the war effort. So definitely valuable options for the Senate to consider.
So
But they won't be able to value the war in time for the next one, as they get given out during the the next Senate session, meaning the income would have already happened at this point.
Yes. But of course, we should value future income into the future as well. We are likely to tax our coffers quite low, prosecuting future wars against the Carthaginians until we burn their cities and salt their earth.
So I guess I just want to ask: does anyone else, perspectives leaning towards the cautionary side? Does anyone else have any opinions on not prosecuting this war? Just to
anyone else besides whom?
Well, I mentioned that I thought it was a little bit risky. It's a 1/3 kind of risk.
Why wouldn't you ask opinions when you go to vote? I think that's a great way to express your opinion on a matter.
So I will do my best to try to summarize both sides' opinion on this. Initially, I don't think we would have the forces to prosecute both, so I'm going to ignore that side of it for now and just discuss either. Prosecuting the Second Punic War, even in the case of a failure, which is approximately 1/3 chance, or a little bit better. Failure is a 1/3 chance. This would cost us approximately 60 talents, because currently we've got a mitigating factor when it comes to our losses with the current Rome consul. We of course have a 2/3 chance to win. We could possibly defeat the Punic War before any leaders are drawn, as we know that there is one more to proceed, and I believe we would create a number of provinces. Yeah, 2.
We would create 2 provinces. That is correct.
So basically, this is the let's strike when the iron's hot proposal. The conservative proposal is to go after our current revolt. The revolt is causing ourselves a drought, which is affecting our unrest level. This will remove a active war, so this will again help mitigate these factors. The chances of victory is much higher, 95%. We're as close to guaranteed as we nearly possibly can. It would create 2 provinces as well, which I hear the Senator's discussion that we won't benefit it in the short term, but getting onto 3rd, 4th, 5th turn, we would start to see at least a somewhat increased income into the state treasury for future prosecuting wars.
Too bad we didn't have those other 2 disbanded veteran legions, eh?
True.
But that wouldn't change the disaster and standoff numbers.
No,
just a quick question for the DM, or GM in this case. Does the Second Illyrian War create a province, or is it just the first one?
So you need to defeat both of the Illyrian wars to get the province. So if it says after both wars are defeated, then you'll see Illyricum is created.
So
you
we
guys
would
have
only
already
get 1 province from this one, whereas the
So we've
Punic
already
War, we would
created
get
the
2.
second, defeated the second, so we'd definitely get the province out of it.
Correct.
Yes. So there is a difference between the Punic War will give us 2 provinces, while the Illyrian Revolt will give us 1 province. All right. I'll open the floor if there's anything that I missed in my summary about the 2 proposals.
So the proposal to take on the Illyrian War and to leave the Punic War, is that sort of factoring in the fact that Scipio Africanus may well be there to lead it? Is that sort of inherent to that proposal or not?
Yes. So that would basically say that with Scipio Africana returned, then we would use overwhelming force to basically prosecute the Punic War.
Now,
while leaving. Sorry, go on.
That's right. My sense though is, this is a question. He wouldn't be able to do that for 2 turns. Is that right? Because he would be recalled in the next Senate after the consuls are elected, and would not be available to be the military consul until the following Senate. Is that the correct understanding?
I believe.
Why recalled? No. Why recalled? He will get back because it's his last term, or not?
Yeah, I believe he'll naturally return. That recalling phase within the Senate is if we were going to forcibly return a senator.
Okay.
I believe.
All right. That's good to know.
But
so I feel like the trade-off for the Senate is between risk and the risk that my senator accrues further influence, which maybe nobody wants to see happen.
Wait a moment. Is the term marker on Sicilia actually correct or not?
They were both sitting at number 2 before I changed them over.
So when it becomes 3, they'll return, because I believe our markers start at 0.
Correct.
That is correct.
So at the end of the turn, when it becomes 3, it will return.
we can also think about it this way. We don't technically need to raise any troops if we do want to fight the Illyrian War, because even changing it from the +5 down to just what we have currently, including the veteran, still gives us no change in our actual probabilities.
I would like to remind the Senate at this stage, it's the Illyrian Revolt.
Yes, true.
We would obviously have to raise probably at least one to prosecute, and given our prior discussions and probably having to raise fleets in preparedness for the Carthaginians, we'd probably raise at least a number of supporting fleets.
Yeah, I concur with that.
Yeah. So
let's hear a proposal.
sure. I will openly say that I'm in favour for prosecuting the Second Punic War. Even with Africana, if he returns next turn to prosecute the war, if we draw the leader, disaster, and standoff numbers will still be in effect. And then if disasters happen, and we could even lose the great and noble Africana to a battle, or any other unduels within the Senate, I think it's worth the 60 talents to roll the 2/3 chance of success to ensure that no great leader from Carthagena raises the banner and joins the current war. So I'm going to put forward the proposal that we raise 4 fleets, 5 legions, and that we would send our current field consul to prosecute the Second Punic War.
Can we make those two separate
Wait,
proposals?
point of order. We can't do this in one proposal.
Sure.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Not allowed.
You
And
just said the
we
same
also-
thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So
And-
let's break that down into
Okay.
raising
We also-
forces and then sending.
I will
Also,
raise. Sorry.
Magistrate, real quick. You do need to raise 6, not 4 fleets.
Oh yes, because we're getting up to 8. Thank you very much, Quintus Octavius. So the proposal will be a total of 6 fleets, which will give us our 8, and the raising of 5 legions, which will bring our land forces to a strength of 19. I'll place this proposal to the floor. I will hear from Quintus Octavius first.
I will put my 4 votes in favor.
I'll hear from Apus Rufius.
I will vote with 7 votes in favor.
Thank you. Tiberius, I'll hear your votes now, please.
I have 11 votes in favour.
Thank you. Marka Vetia, I'll hear your votes now.
11 votes in favour, and bless the roll.
Aurelius, I'll hear your votes next.
7 votes in favour.
And finally, my own votes, 11 votes in favour for the proposal.
Yeah, a total of 51 votes, all in favor.
Strong outcome for the raising of the forces there. Well done. So, who's going to debit the treasury?
So that'll be a debit of 110 talents.
There you go. Nice.
Oh wait, 110, sorry. Not 130.
There is no armament concession on any senator, right?
No, I don't believe so. Let's have a quick squiz. I don't recall seeing one. Harbour fees. Actually, yeah, somebody's got harbour fees. No,
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine.
Harbour
That's
fees
not what
is not the one with the
That's
fleet
not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah, nobody's got the special concessions there. Good question.
Then in that case, I'll put forward a proposal to the floor that we send all available forces, which will be a total of 8 fleets and 17 regular legions and 1 veteran legion, with our Rome field consul to prosecute and defeat the Second Punic War. I'll hear from Quintus Octavius first on this proposal.
4 votes in favour.
I'll hear from Appius Rufus next.
7 votes against.
I'll hear from the Corona faction.
11 votes against.
I'll hear from...
plus a 12th for my priest.
Yes. Please increase any battle votes as required.
Can I just confirm what it is we're voting on? I just literally was... I literally missed the proposal.
Sure. We're currently voting to send the entire active forces pool of the Rome with our field consul to prosecute the Second Punic War.
My question is, I was just a bit confused. It's not, maybe that I did hear it, but I was just a bit confused why people were voting yes to raise the forces, but then voting against it.
Perhaps they want more forces raised. If this is blocked, then I would have to change the proposal.
So I thought we were sending almost all of our troops. No.
We could send more forces.
But this was the 1% difference. So we're sending the lower number.
Currently, yes. This would be the additive 1.85% risk.
Okay, so this is the lower number. Okay, so that might be why people are voting against it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries. And that's only just like one possibility of like 20.
I just oh, did I miss something? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Would you wish more time to think about your vote?
Have you called for my vote or for somebody else's?
Your vote, Marker, yes.
Can I ask why people were voting against it?
If the presiding magistrate allows.
No. All right, Marker, I'll call for your vote now.
Okay. I was just totally confused. Like I might have missed something. 11 nay.
All right, Aurelius, I'll hear your vote, sir.
Yep. I just so I have 3 votes for my Pontifex Maximus, so that's doubled to 6. Is that correct? Yep.
Sounds correct to me.
Yep. So then that makes a total of 10, up from 7, and I'm going to vote for nay.
And I'll place my 11 votes in favour of the proposal. Scriber, I would hear you call out the results of the vote.
Yeah, so 15 in favour and 40 against. The vote
Like
does
the
not
proposal
pass.
fails.
Interesting. So those watching at home, we've just seen a proposal that's been shot down by the Senate to send all the available active forces away to the war. The thinking perhaps is unknown. Perhaps maybe the Senate was hoping for some more, but now the Rome consul will have to now make a slightly different proposal or think about the change in the proposal here to get something across the floor, to get a force out to prosecute that war. So let's see what he will do now.
Okay. So I'll come to the Senate. So obviously the last proposal was declined. I will put forward that I think that's likely because the number of senators feel the passive option is preferable. If any of the senators would wish to put forward their minds on what my guess is of their negative votes to the proposal.
I'm happy to explain my faction's voting and voting intent. I think that we should. I don't think 30% risk of loss is palatable when we know that we can reduce that numbers by appointing a different leader. And I'm aware that I look like I'm playing my own corner here because my senator, but I have the interests of Rome at heart. Let me assure you.
I guess I'm kind of the same mind. 1/3 risk does seem pretty risky to me in a way. While at the same time, the counter argument offered was that we could draw a leader. Now there's 122 cards left in the deck. And there's six draws, so that's a bit of a less odds than 1/3 that we would draw a
Yes,
leader.
but
So
certain leaders live in different eras, and the deck is ordered in eras. As a reminder.
that's true.
So I don't think it's as unreasonable to suggest that we could possibly see a leader.
Just a quick, sorry to interrupt you there, Console. Just a quick point of interest. I'm just going to add a second vote counter for those who get battle votes, so they can track their standard votes
perfect,
and their
yeah.
battle votes differently. Oh, hang on, I've
can you delete one?
duplicated.
Yeah.
I'm going to delete a few there.
Sure. I'll keep this one on the left.
Like,
There we go.
I have a question.
Oops.
So, what are the
Oh,
risks
no,
about
no,
going
no,
with
no.
Stand by.
the more passive option?
There you go.
Can I make a quick point if that's all right?
sure, go.
I just want to ask. Obviously, I'm assuming we can't run that other proposal back again, correct? Since it failed.
Yes.
So I
It'd
mean,
be a slight change.
no, that was going to war, was it not?
Yes,
but you can just change
With a
the vote
certain
slightly.
number of troops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be
Oh,
acceptable.
really? Okay.
Yeah, so we could add another troop also,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then send.
or send less.
No.
I'm in favor. No, let's not.
No, I got 10 and 7.
No, so one will be just for your battle votes. The other one is your total faction
Oh,
votes
okay,
minus
yep.
the battle votes. Yep, that's what I'm doing there.
Okay.
So you'll see from Tiberius Cornelius, he's got 11 for his total faction, and then he's one additional battle vote separate there.
Mhm.
No worries, apologies.
So yeah,
I,
go on, Marker.
I understand that obviously there are benefits to going after this bigger war. We get
Yes.
it off the table, we get the money, there's no other things against our, you know what I mean, the unrest in Rome. But my question to you is, what are the other risks associated with the more passive option? I'm trying to understand.
So the risk of the passive option is we have a continual effect with the Punic War, where we have a chance to lose a tax farmer concession. We have a chance to draw a leader, which adds a disaster and standoff numbers that can't be nullified by Scipio Africana.
Yeah.
I believe that's probably the major effects is drawing the
Leader.
other leader. Yes.
Yeah, we can't ignore that risk.
No, it's true.
And the negative effects, if we lose, is we lose 60 talents worth of troops. And the current Rome console has 6 or 7, 8 rolls to die.
But what about the field console? Is that also the same, or is it just the Rome console?
Field console is the console we'll be sending to prosecute the war.
Okay, so they're the ones that might die.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good times.
Because there's like a mortality draw, I think, for each legion or unit.
Lost. Yeah, but it's the number of times that you'd lose and then have to draw.
Yes. So basically, it's 60 talents,
Mm-hmm.
and a senator may die.
Yep.
In comparison to possibly killing the Punic War, we get a two powerful provinces. I can't remember off the top of my head if they're actually powerful or not, but they're in Hispania, which, if I recall, at least from history, were fairly wealthy foreign provinces. And we get it out of the way. Basically, if the leader is drawn, they'll be drawn without a war, and then we can start rolling basically to possibly kill off another leader, which we've been extremely lucky with currently. So I don't think the negative effects of that possible 1/3 fail is that bad.
Is there unrest effects as well?
If we lose, yes.
Yeah.
I'd imagine so.
Now, you were talking about the possibility of getting the leader drawn.
Yes.
Now, that was with 122 in the deck, you said, but that's also accounting for the two other errors. Is that my correct understanding?
So currently we're still going through the early era deck.
Approximately
Well,
how many cards is in the early era?
I'm not sure.
Because if
60?
there's
No, it can't
Yeah.
be 60. It must
How
be
many's in the other two errors, I guess, and we can work backwards.
well,
So
actually, we
there's
can.
there's roughly, maybe 140, 150 cards across,
It'd
maybe
be about
150 across all 4 errors that we've got, because we've got the Civil War deck in there as well.
Mhm.
So
So
you can
we're
sort of
probably
divide
over
that.
halfway through the early.
Yeah, I'd say that's true.
So
But do the later have more or less cards, or the same?
Except-
amount?
They have the same amount.
So
They would probably have less because there'd be less senators, because there's 20 base family senators in the early Republic deck.
Okay.
So what's that? That's wasn't it 150 you said? So
Roughly.
150.
and we've
so
gone
30.
through approximately 24 cards off the top already.
Including all your senators already out in the field, right?
So it's
Yeah.
it's probably what, let's say 30 cards left. So the 6 draws. So 1/6 times
So
6 times 1 out of 30 would be the number.
And don't forget that between each era is the bottom 6 and the top 6 cards of the respective eras are mixed. So there are 12 card layers between each of the eras, which are actually mixed eras as well. So there might be a danger card that may still have to come out in the early Republic, for example, but it might be at the bottom of that mix of 12 cards into the next era. So who knows?
So we might be thinking about a 1/5 chance to draw the leader in the next turn.
roughly,
Roughly. Very roughly, but yeah, maybe about a 5th chance.
Well, not if everybody rolls a 7.
Yeah,
that's
everyone
true.
rolls a 7, 0%
Yeah.
chance. Let's go, team. Let's
Yeah.
go.
20% is what I got. So
Yeah,
Anyway,
one-
what's
1/5.
happening, Rome Console?
How much money was it to raise another troop or so to send with them?
That'll be like 10 talents.
10 talents.
console, I'll be happy to vote in your favor if you make a public deal to donate 10 talents to the treasury if we fail.
10 talents.
Yep.
I have no
Yep.
such. I have no such money.
You got
I-
18
I-
Well,
talents
the
on one of your
senator over
senators.
here might be losing one of his senators, so I
Hey,
feel like that
hey,
might
why are the talents there?
Oh. Or you just give him one of your senators, like that would also be fine.
Is that
I-
possible?
I think the proposal, considering like it is important, it should stand on its own merits.
Okay, so you're not confident.
Oh, well, I still think if we're going to send people, we're going to raise those extra troops because I feel like that's the right thing to do.
The extra 1.85% chance.
Yeah, it's only 10 talents. We're going to raise it.
10
Yeah.
talents. 10
Yeah.
talents, console.
All right. In that
There we
case, I'll put forward the proposal to raise 1 additional regular
Yeah.
legion. I'll hear from Quintus Octavius first.
I will put my 4 votes in favor.
I'll hear from Appius Ruficus.
7 votes in favor.
I'll hear from Tiberius next.
Yeah, I'll support with 11 votes.
Marca Vedia.
11 votes in favor.
I'll hear from Numerous.
7 votes against.
And I'll place my 11 votes in favor for the proposal. Scriber, I'll hear the results from the proposal.
If you give me 2 seconds to write them all, I can definitely tell you. It'll be
35 to
20
7, isn't it?
I think it's a bit more. What are we? I have no clue where we are at. Who was all in yay? Can some?
11, 11, 11.
There
7.
was 3 11s in yay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's 37 to 7. Yeah, you're correct. The vote passes.
Thank you very much. Can I please have someone deduct 10 from the treasury, and I'll raise the additional legion. Oh, there we go.
Very good. We've seen another new legion raised. Brilliant.
I will continue. I will now make a proposal that we will send all active forces, which will be 18 regular legion, 1 veteran legion, giving a total land strength of 20, with 8 supporting fleets sent with our current field consul to go prosecute the Second Punic War. I'll hear the vote from Quintus Octavius first.
I'll put my 4 in favor.
I'll hear from Tiberius next.
Put 12 against.
I'll hear from Marker.
I'm going to go 11 yay.
I will hear Numerous next, please.
May I veto this with my Pontifex Maximus power?
You
believe
can
so,
indeed.
I will veto this proposal.
Alrighty.
Oh.
He has so vetoed that proposal. Interesting. Very fascinating. All right. Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust. In that case, I'll put forward a proposal to the floor that we raise an additional legion.
Slow and steady, eh, boys and girls?
I'll hear the vote from Quintus Octavius first.
I will put 4 votes in favor.
I'll hear from Appius Rufus next, please.
7 votes in favor.
I'll hear from Tiberius.
11 against.
I'll hear from Marca Vetia.
But if we sent another consul, so when we raise forces, we don't necessarily have to send them.
Correct.
What's that?
And
magic?
at some,
Sorry. Go ahead, Martha.
and it's okay. And at some point, if it was then whatever that we would not send, we would then basically go after the other war.
Yeah, so you're suggesting there'll be a point where I run out of possible computations of prosecuting the Punic War. Then yes, I'll be required to do that, or just end the Senate phase with not prosecuting any war.
True.
Oh, but why would we go away with not prosecuting either?
Vengeance.
Basically, a tantrum. just a suggestion. Less a threat.
It's one of the constellation of possibilities.
That's part of the game I like to see.
The universe is endless. I'm still going to vote 11 yay.
Thank you. I'll hear from Aurelius next.
Sorry, that was me.
Yes.
Yep, that's 10 votes against.
I don't think you get the battle vote for raising legions.
Don't I? Oh,
Correct.
sorry. That's just 7 then.
Okay.
Oh, give me 1 sec. There we go.
And it would still stand that you would make donations to the thing as well too. If
There's no agreement for that, so.
okay.
Yeah, no agreement.
I'll place my 11 votes in favour. I'll hear the results from the scriber.
Yep, so the current vote proposal is, with your additional 11, 33 yay, 18 nay.
The proposal passes. May I please have someone take another 10 talents from the treasury, and we will raise an additional legion.
What's that magic number we should try and stay above? Is it 50?
Basically, yeah, because I
believe
believe there's an event that could end our game.
Is that in the whole deck or is that in the top deck? Like,
The event.
Yeah. Is it just one? And is it through all the cards or is it in like?
Well,
just
it's
the
in
top?
the random events table.
Correct.
Oh, you random events, yeah.
Natural disaster.
Oh.
Do we have equal chances of getting that compared to pulling the enemy leader? You guys think?
It would be a 4 on a 3D d6. It's pretty low. It's a logarithmic curve.
Yeah.
I think all of these things have potential for.
I'm putting a barb putting
I
a
know,
bar
but
out
it's
there.
true. All of these things, there's quite a few of them that, you know, you don't necessarily know which way the cookie's going to crumble until you roll.
Actually, guys, we haven't voted on the war yet. We could still make him do a public deal that if we lose, that he has to pay.
I'd like to put forward a proposal at this stage that all available forces under the control of the Field Consul goes and prosecutes the Second Punic War. I'll hear the votes from Quintus Octavius first.
4 votes in favor.
I'll hear. All right. I'll also just confirm for the Senate. So that would be a total of 19 regular forces, 1 veteran, so a total land strength of 21. At this stage, this removes the chance of any stalemates and only gives us the disaster standoff numbers as a result.
Why is that?
Because the lowest possible roll of a 3 plus our modifier equals 14, which is a victory. So outside the disaster standoff numbers, there's no chance not to have a victory. So we're at that cap. No more additional legions will change our victory chance by any amount.
So what victory percentage are we at now?
70%. I believe if I saw it, 70.3% chance of victory.
Doesn't the standoff and disaster numbers apply on the hard roll, not the modified roll?
Yes,
Correct, the
that is
hard roll,
hard,
yes.
hard roll.
That is correct.
So with the understanding that this vote would be for a 70% victory, compared to what we were discussing before, where it was about a 2/3 victory.
No, sorry, the disaster and standoff hasn't changed. I said 30%, which is just a little bit less.
Yeah. But I think there was also some discussion where we were generally throwing around.
I think it was, where was it? It was, I don't know what it was. Maybe, yeah, I think it was the stalemate number that changed. So with the extra forces,
the stalemate number is gone
but
down.
the disaster and standoff has stayed the same.
So that stalemate number is from the combat result number or table, where we would roll like in the 4 and the 3, kind of 3 1s kind of a roll to get a stalemate. So now it's impossible for us to fail on the combat result table. It would only be the standoff disaster numbers. So I will now hear from Marco Wedia on your vote for the proposal.
Mm, 11 votes in favour. I think we...
Thank you. Can I hear from Tiberius next, please?
Twelve against.
Can I hear from Aurelius next?
10 against. Get them.
I'll place my 11 votes in favour. And I will hear from Appius Rufus for his vote.
What is current number here saying?
That's 20. What is it? 26 versus 21, I think it is.
So you have the casting vote.
10. Oh, no, 26 versus 22,
Okay.
apologies.
Nay. I vote 7 nay.
Amazing. Another proposal shot down. God, you guys aren't making it easy. It's like one of those political dramas you can see on the TV. This is brilliant.
All right,
He's
time
running
to
out of
raise
options.
2 more legions.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was basically the maximum possible force we could bring to forth against the Punic War. So there's no point raising any further above what our current levels are. Anything else would just be incurring possibility when it comes to like high losses without increasing our chances.
Yeah, I would interpret that vote outcome as being a vote in principle against the war.
Very well.
So while the Rome console's having a think, for those watching along at home or on YouTube in the future, so The Rome consuls had several proposals now shot down by the Senate to prosecute the Second Punic War with any number of available forces. So it appears that there is a slight majority within the Senate that perhaps wants to see maybe the prosecution of the other war. So now, maybe perhaps against the wishes, the consuls now having to think of some other solutions here. So let's see what the Rome consul has to say going forwards.
Given the vote of the Senate, I feel like I will yield to popular opinion, and we will send all available regular forces with all of the attached fleets, with the command of the field consul to go prosecute the Illyrian revolt. I'll hear from Quintus Octavius for his vote for the proposal.
I thought 4 against this.
I'll hear from Tiberius.
11 in favor, 12 in favor, sorry.
Marco, can I hear your vote?
11 votes in favour. We need to at least prosecute one more. Whew.
You're a bit of a warmonger, I see.
I'll place my 11 votes against. I'll hear from Aurelius next.
That is 10 votes, and I thank you for yielding for democracy, Consul.
I'll hear from Appius Rufius next.
Isn't that the definition?
7 votes in favor.
Definition of what, sorry?
Isn't that the definition of democracy, that, people do have a vote,
Yeah. We voted.
Well, at least the senators in the Republic anyway. I don't know about the plebs.
Oh.
Someone
Right.
voted, right? That's democracy.
It's
Yeah.
what's it,
Otherwise, it's not a real democracy, is it?
No.
Nobody votes.
Oh man! Right. So we've just seen. Finally, we've seen an outcome there. So we're now going to see the field consul off to march against the Illyrian War, to the first Illyrian War. Right. So
GM, I'd just like to correct you. It's the Illyrian revolt, sir.
yes, the Illyrian War Revolt. Yes, so just testing to see if you're awake there, and good. That was a quick response time. Well done.
What was the final vote numbers, if I may ask? I don't think I heard them.
It was 40 in favor, 15 against.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
If there is no other business onto the floor, I would be happy to end the Senate phase at this stage.
I don't think this is relevant to the Senate phase, but isn't there a rule if too many votes are against you that you lose popularity or something?
Only if it's completely unanimous, as it went
So,
around.
what's that mean? Apologies.
Every other faction vote.
Every other vote. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yep. No worries. I wasn't sure if it was like a 66% or
No.
Okay.
It's just a hard every other faction votes.
Cool.
Just got a question, Rome
Thank you,
Consul.
Consul.
Yes.
Are we going to be giving out the tax farmer at all?
Unfortunately, I believe I've already closed the Senate phase.
You haven't yet.
No, you said if there's nothing else, to which I
If there's
interjected.
nothing else,
Okay.
And
we have not officially closed.
Quintus interjected to me.
Well, it depends. I mean, the Rome consul's the only one that can determine whether the Senate session's officially closed or not.
Well, Consul, it's up to you. Consul's infallible. He would never.
True.
They went against your consul. Don't give it.
No.
Don't give it.
I'm not going against you. I'm
No,
saying that you're
you
infallible, Consul.
can't.
I'm on your side here.
You
Senate
can't-
closed. Thank you, senators.
Ooh.
Thank you, senators.
Oh,
I love
Jesus.
you guys so much. You guys are awesome. This is.
Wow.
Oh dear. Right. So let's look at our cheat sheets, ladies and gentlemen. Now that the good Rome consul has closed the Senate session, we can see here that we've now made sure we've deployed all the force that we're supposed to. There's no event cards that we need to be aware of at this point in time, and there's still a land bill in play. So therefore, the guy who's got the land bill commission, he gets to keep that. So that's all fine and dandy. So no problems there. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to move into the combat phase. Wow, that was a good Senate session. I enjoyed that.
Ooh.
Lots of thinking.
As a point of order, can I flip my veto back over, or should I just keep it until the next kind of round?
Yeah, you can flip it
whatever?
over now. Yeah, that's
Just
but
as a
that'll
point of
apply
order, I don't know.
for the next Senate session. That's right. That's fine.
Cool.
Objection.
Cool.
Objection. It's still the same term.
We
Veto.
need
Censor.
sound effects.
I veto you reactivating your veto.
So we are reopening the Senate.
I'm sorry, should have done my
Constitution.
option. Just send
Right.
7 fleets, not 8.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take on this war, folks. So maybe we can have the commander bring open the combat calculator and just make sure it's set up, ready for this upcoming combat roll. So if I'll give you a chance to do that, so we can see all of our available forces and fleets there, to make an absolute monster of this revolt. Well, yes, so the combat calculator is open, and we're now going to see. I'm going to punch in the values for that. So we've got 5, 21 Legion fleet strength. So our danger noodle numbers are 5 and 17. So we do not want to see those on the base 3d6 roll. And pretty much whatever is rolled by the commander, we will then add a ridiculous die roll modifier. So we just really don't need to bother looking at the table, because it'll be almost a sheer outcome of a victory anyway. When we look at that dice roll modifier of 19, it's just they don't want to roll a 5 or a 17 here.
That's what I was like. We would kick ourselves if we so happen to do it on this one.
yeah,
And
fingers.
it's back,
Senators,
back
if
on
anything,
me
I
again.
voted against the proposal.
That's right.
Yeah, why is it always me?
I voted for Kang.
Yeah, it's true. It is always you, isn't it, Quintus Octavius?
It's always me. Don't roll these 2 and we'll be fine. Rolls those 2.
So, but before I jump the gun and request the commander charge into battle, normally you guys call for the Pontifex Maximus to make a speech. Is that something you guys like to do now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, but he's for some reason disappeared.
He has disappeared. He's stepped away to go get the wine for the libation for the sacrifice, perhaps.
Anointing.
I don't know. Here he is. Does he? Pontifex Maximus, if you can hear us, did you want to do a speech prior to going into battle?
Of course. I'm glad that you all waited. Mars thanks you for your patience. Am I ready to go, Console?
Please proceed.
Okay. Mars, magnificent God, you blessed us with your favor in the last battle, bringing us victory. Today, we ask that you guide our pylons home true, that we may put down this revolt, and that we may restore prosperity to Rome. Thank you. The end.
Amen.
Anyway, yeah. The
There we
benefit
are.
of amen is you know when you're at the end.
I've got my oils. I'm
Perfect.
using my oils.
Yep.
It's called On Guard to protect against. It
On
says
Guard.
it's a protective blend to protect against evil omens.
Perfect.
We
The
have enough
Pontifex
work in a
Maximus
moment.
blesses that.
Yeah, the Pontifex Maximus wants that. He doesn't want evil omens.
Yes, yeah, Mark, you better send me that in the mail.
All right. Let us go ahead and Commander 3d6 when you're ready. Just don't roll a 5 or a 17. Let's get this one in the bag. Here we go. I think that's pretty comfortable there. And so if we have 14 plus 19, that I tell you what, there is
So
nothing
33.
left. Red mist, right? That's
I think it was genocide.
that's all that's left of the first Illyrians there. So let's go through our
Yay.
checklist now and
Guys, it's
go
nice
through
over the
all the
boards.
happy victory things, shall we?
We barely scraped that by, right?
That's right. First of all, can somebody please lower the unrest level by 1 for the victory?
Oh, wrong one.
Look at all frantically jumping in there. Brilliant.
I'm just imagining Quintus Octavius. Send the scouts out to just reveal the enemy forces. The scouts return. We've won the war, sir.
From here, we don't need to draw any mortality chits because no units were lost. Which of the legions there, Commander, would you like to become a veteran legion?
I think it's only customary that the First Legion, because that was probably just sent off just to watch them and them just fall to the ground, die. So we'll
Very
take
good.
that one.
I like your choice. Go ahead and grab yourself the respective Legion Allegiance marker from the bucket and please place that on the Statesman's card back in Rome. Very good. Now, the strength of that war was 5 when rounding with a 4, and halving that is the 2. So 2 is the magical number here. So lots of coughing. So the commander gets to increase his popularity and influence by 2 in this case here. So while you're down there dropping your Legion Allegiance marker on Quintus Fabius, please go ahead and give him 2 popularity and 2 extra influence under his chart as well. That's fantastic. Very good. Now we know that from this province we don't get any talents, unfortunately, because it is just a revolt. But that's okay. We can now get rid of this age marker, which is good because that war is defeated. Now, what is the province we get to create? Create provinces of
Illyricum.
both Illyricum and creates province of Illyricum. Yeah, I thought I was thinking it's a plurals there. So if somebody wants to grab the Illyricum provincial card and place that in the forum, ready for the next Senate session to be divvied out to a willing governor. Or maybe an unwilling governor, potentially.
Do you need to reveal it on the map?
Yeah, let's go ahead and reveal it on the map. So that is on this thin piece here, which is just to the right of the Italian peninsula. No, is that correct, folks? How's everyone's geography?
What was
So
it?
I
Sorry?
believe
That is correct. Illyricum is over there, yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
so-
Illyricum,
To the right
Yeah.
of the...
Yeah, I believe it's
Right.
here. It's the thin strip of black just to
It's,
the right of the
it's the
Italian
Balkan.
peninsula.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
so here we
it's
go. If it's wrong, then we've got to deal with it. I can color it in next session. Yay,
So
we got it right. All right.
Macedonia, Bosnia.
Serbia, Croatia.
There we go. Yes, excellent. All right, so we've now revealed a new province on our global map. That's very exciting, isn't it? Let's have a look through the rest of our thing. I think we've got everything else there. Yes, we didn't get any spoils of war, and there's nothing naval to consider there. So I think we've stepped through everything we need to in regards to the victory of combat. So well done to our commander there. Let's go back to our cheat sheet down here and just finish off our combat phase. We have noted the unprosecuted war there. Thanks, Marcus Decimus, for putting that down. So the Second Punic War is, in fact, unprosecuted. Yeah, imagine if that roll had resulted for the Second Punic War. Yeah, true. And then we talk about war exhaustion. So if any war with an age marker or 6 or not, but we don't have any wars meeting that description right now, which is very good. So no fears of being overrun by a very long, exhausting war. So that will now bring us to the end of the combat phase and bring us to the start of the revolution phase. So well done, folks, there. We'll bring ourselves into the revolution phase. Noting here, we're not following voluntary retirement rules this year, but we do get to talk about intrigue. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the point in the game where you can all freely trade cards from your hand to and fro. So, is there anybody that would like to trade or suggest a trade of cards from their hand to somebody else at this point in time?
May you just give me 1 second if that's right?
Yeah. Take your time. So for those watching at home or on YouTube in the future, yes, this is the only time in the game that players can actually trade cards from their hand, and that could be anything from concessions through to often statesmen. Sometimes the players will have a statesman which they can't play because usually another faction owns the respective family card in which it would be played on. So sometimes that will be part of the discussions occurring. Other times it could be tribunes, or they might be making deals to form alliances and said, I'll give you a concession and a tribune card, or I'll give you a seduction card, some other intrigue card if you do something for me. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And sometimes that is done with cards.
And we have to announce that, correct?
It can be private, and if it is a private deal, all you need to go is we are moving cards. Well, because it's so easy here, you could just essentially just do it. Because if that's fine, because it's a really easy mechanic. So if you are passing a card to somebody else, feel free to do that. You don't necessarily need to tell somebody else, so long as it's done right now, essentially.
Yeah, and I think when we did a public agreement before, it was more like I'm passing a card, the other person agrees that's the card.
Ticking
that
the
was
boxes.
discussed.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm happy to move on.
Cool. Okay. So nobody wants to trade cards at this point. So that's fair enough. So now we see down here, we're just going to double check that no player has more than 5 cards, and we're very easily under that limit, which is very good. And now we can go through. Now, we start with the HRAO rather. We should go around and make sure anybody wants to play statesmen or concessions. So where is our current consul? He's over here. Let's ask him, Marcus Decimus, do you want to play any cards from your hand at this point in time?
Not at this stage, thank you.
All right. Numerius Aurelius, any cards from your hand at this point? Yes, he's going to play one. And we know for a fact that the family card 22A is not out there right now. So he's going to play the statesman Marcus Porcius Cato the Elder. And this particular fascinating statesman gets 1 free tribune per turn. So that is actually, you could actually go grab the tribune token from the board just to remind everyone and yourself that you get that. So over here, you can see this tribune bag next to the die swine. So grab one of those and throw that at the front of your faction. Cool. Yeah, and that'll remind you. And yeah, so you've got the tribune and the veto at the front there. There you go.
Perfect.
And he gets 6 extra votes on law proposals. So I wonder if we get you a third vote token to show you that you get, in fact, another a vote. But that 6 oratory is fantastic for votes, isn't it? That's really good.
Yeah, as a point, I guess, I don't know if you need to do this now, but is it possible to edit the thing so I can, if I have a 6 one, that I can see that it's for a specific thing? Like change the vote
I will look at that. I tried doing that before, but when you hover over it, it tells you that it's for your battle votes. But I'd like to try and modify the actual
No, that's
image.
all right. If it says on the hover, I can figure that out. Obviously.
Yeah. I'm working with Poached Trout in the background here on that already. So that's good. But yeah, very powerful. So good card played. Anything else from you at this point in time, Numerius Aurelius?
No, I don't think so. I'm just trying to remember what I've got to update. No, that should be all right, I believe. Thank you.
Yeah, you look pretty good there. Quintus Octavius, any cards from your hand this time?
There will not be at the moment.
Very good. Appius Rufius, any cards from your hand?
One moment.
Yep, take your time. Consider your options. But yeah, Cato, powerful stuff. Nice to see the Palmer faction getting some senators again. That's good.
As a quick point of order, it seems I can't drag my vote token on the vote board on the far right over far enough. It seems to kind of stop at the 4th row. I can't move it past the 12.
Which token are you referring to?
The vote counter on the far right, the vote tally. Yeah. I can't move it past that 12th row, whatever it is.
You need to change your view. Yeah, because we're at the extremes of the playing virtual tabletop. If you modify your view a little bit, you can. Yep.
Okay, let me have a try. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Never had that happen before.
Yeah, it's very extreme out there on the end of the universe.
Yeah, it's like I thought there must have been some, like invisible
black hole.
Yeah,
warping. Yeah, some warping going on out there.
Okay, that's so good. Thank you very much.
So back to you, Appius Rufius. Are you still discussing your options? Are you?
I think there's no message incoming. Okay, no cards for me then.
No cards for you then at this point in time. Okay, across to Tiberius Cornelius. Any cards from your hand at this point in time?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Tax Farmer 3 coming out. There we go. Gives you 2 per turn. Yep, and is susceptible to the Punic War that's out there. But fingers crossed that's not an issue for you. Anything else from you at this point in time?
That's it. Thank you.
And Mark Wedia, any cards from your hand at this point in time? I hear it. See a head shake. Yep. So nothing from Mark Wedia from her hand. All right. Now, I guess as we went round there, I didn't really give the option, but we'll go back to him now. Does our commander out there, does he want to disband his new veteran legion? So Quintus Octavius, that's a question for you. Do you have a plan to disband your legion?
No, I will not.
No, you won't disband his legion. Very good. Now let's go through the formal declaration of rebellion. But of course, we always give an option for our returning governors to actually roll, even just for shits and giggles, to see how many loyal legions they could end up with if they so choose. If not, they can just skip straight to their decision. So I guess over to you, Quintus Octavius. What are your intentions here with your force?
Well, with how uncohesive the government is, I think it should be a good idea to return without rebellion.
Return to stabilize Rome.
All right, very good. So we are going to see our victorious commander return his forces to Rome and march peacefully across the Pomerium and into the boundaries of Rome again. So we can now, return our forces back to Rome in the active forces box. We can remove that nasty away from Rome marker over our good senator. And you can update your votes again there too, Quintus Octavius, now that the very good Quintus Fabius has returned to us in one piece. Fantastic. And now we do our final checks on the board. We have no victory conditions. We don't have any console for lives at the moment. We don't have 4 or more active wars overwhelming us. Treasury is barely good, but it's there. Unrest level is looking quite comfortable at the moment as we move forwards. And that will bring us to the end of our revolution phase and bring us into the mortality phase. We're now in the mortality phase, folks. So if we look at our cheat sheet, excuse me again. And up the top here, so imminent war activation. We don't have any imminent wars to move across at this point in time. And now we need to increase the age of every war by 1. So we now get to see the Second Punic War age by 1. If somebody wants to grab a war exhaustion marker and then set the state so that it is now 1. Here we go. Very good. Tiberius Cornelius is on it. Right click and set that to 1 for us. And now we get to roll to see which 1 or 2 or no senators actually go through an aging process this round. So maybe we'll have Marcus Decimus as the Rome consul do the drawing of the 2 mortality chits. So drag those and put those just to the right of the field there. That'll do. We've got 6 and 7. Who are our senators 6 and 7 on the field? Let's have a look. Furious from Tiberius Cornelius's faction. He'll get an elder marker.
I've got number 6 as well.
And you got number 6. And who's that for you? Manlius. So he'll be an elder as well. So 2 senators will become elders this round.
Jeez, on the geriatric faction.
Interesting. Yes, there we go. The geriatric faction. Lots of experience there. So that will make our faction leaders think about what's going on there. So we can now return our mortality chits back to the mortality bag. And we now have 2 new elder senators there. Interesting. Very, very interesting, isn't it? Cool. Well, that's a nice quick mortality phase. How are you guys going? Do you guys need a break?
I'm still good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yes,
Still
I
spry.
would need a break.
Yep. Everyone's all right?
All right.
Appius
Yep.
said he.
Oh, Appius would like a break? Well, before we start the revenue
think he
phase,
said-
let's go ahead and start a break, folks. Do our usual 5 minutes, have a leg stretch, refill our wine cups, and we'll come back very shortly. So those that are watching live, bear with us. We're just going to step away, take a brief break, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes or so and crack on. So here we go, senators. Go take a break. And all right, and we are back with the Republic of Rome board game broadcast, part 2 of tonight's session, episode 5. We just took a quick break. Thank you for your patience for sticking around. For those that are watching us live here on Twitch, we're now going to start the very wonderful revenue phase. And as we can see from our cheat sheet over here, our calculator is going to bunch and go through all this stuff for us. The only thing we're just going to remember is contributions to the state and any return of the governors, which we'll get to a little bit later on. But let's go ahead and open up our revenue calculator. You guys know the shindig here. I'll look after the state for you all. If you would all like to look after your individual factions, don't forget your concessions, whether they're old or new. Don't forget your provinces, whether you're taking spoils or not. Don't forget your Pontifex Maximuses, if you've got those as well. So we know we've got 1 active war for the state. We've got no droughts now, I don't think. Let's double check that Second Punic War.
We
I
have
thought that-
one.
Yeah, it doesn't make
Oh,
it
wait, no, we
persistent.
don't anymore.
No, not
No,
anymore. We
it's
don't have
not
a drought anymore.
persistent?
No, because it left with the war, which is good. No evil omens, which is nice. We've got the Type 2 land bill. Now, I'm going to go through and who remembers how many legions we've got?
19.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, because we also have the veteran, so I think it's 20 in total.
20 in total, is it now? Who's counting? Somebody counting?
Let's see if any of what I was discussing during the Senate phase was correct.
20. I got 20. Everyone else got 20.
Okay, good.
I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so the state's about ready. I'll tick the states box in just a moment. All right, we'll let all the other factions slowly make sure they've got their senator count correct, their knight count correct. I think everyone's got their leader assigned. And just make sure you've got all your provinces selected, all your concessions selected. And whether you're taking any graft on those, if applicable. Make sure you read your conditions. Okay, we're just waiting on Tiberius Cornelius's faction. We'll give him a moment. And make sure you read your printouts when we get to the next screen, folks, very, very well. Make sure you read your printouts so there's anything else that needs to be taken into consideration. And I'll step through with each of the governors about raising their provincial armies after a brief period of time. Oh, and a thank you to one of our long-term senators in Nova Roma, George Tanos, aka Titus Domitius Draco, who's come through with another sub, Tier 1. Gratis Tibiago to the good senator. Pleasure to have you on board watching us again this evening. All right, everybody's ready. I'm going to tick the states box. Let's generate revenue. There we go. Take your time, folks, to do your talent distribution between your hidden faction treasuries and each of your personal senators. We can see the state is only getting 23 talents this time round. I'll leave Quintus Octavius to do the update for the state in just a moment. We can see Mark Wedi will get 13 with the red faction. Tiberius Cornelius Orange will get an 18 talent haul. Appius Rufius with the yellow faction will get 6. Quintus Octavius will get himself 8. Numerius Aurelius gets 15 this time with the blue faction, and 16 talents for our purple Marcus Decimus. You can see the state treasury has now been updated. Thank you very much for that. And let's just have a look through here. Now, let's just double check. No improvement for one province. And who is our other provincial governor delegate? That's Marcus Decimus. I don't think he's... I think both have elected to take spoils this round. Is that correct, governors? You both elected to take spoils?
Correct, yep.
I'm just going to grab a corruption marker for our senators, but I think they're coming back shortly anyway. But we'll get that. We'll get to that in a minute. And we've got the return to governor markers, which we're going to utilise as well when they come back too. Which Poach Trout will be pleased to know that I'm remembering. So everybody take your time. When you are ready, tick your box at the bottom, but only once you've distributed all of your money between your senators. Make sure you've got your count right, and between your hidden faction treasuries. We're obviously running on the honesty system here. Make sure all your dials are up to speed. Thinking about, state contributions as well. We'll do that in just a moment too, as well as perhaps any future sponsoring of games for those that may want to do that, as well as, self-protections against persuasion attempts. They're all the things our senators are thinking about when they're redistributing their funds. And of course, if you are looking to pass money between factions, now is the only time you may do that as well, folks. So anybody that's got a deal going on, this is the time to trade talents between factions. The only time you get to do that. So I think everybody's ready bar 2 factions. Just waiting on Numerius Aurelius' blue faction for when he's ready, and Mark Wedi's red faction.
I'm just distributing income
That's
around
okay.
between everyone.
Yeah, that's all right. You take your time. I'm just want to make sure. Very good. But loving this calculator. It's a great tool. Makes things a lot easier. But it's just important for us to read the notes and the detail printouts. All right. So make sure everybody. You've got corruption for those with concessions, revealing the corrupt portion of the bar. If it's easier for you, you could probably bring out a minor corruption token if that makes things easier for you, if you don't want to shuffle cards around, perhaps. All right, I think everybody's tick boxes there, so we can now close the calculator. That's very good. Let's first of all go around and see if anybody would like to make state contributions, and then we'll get to the governors. So let's start with our HRAO and the Rome consul, Aelius from Marcus Decimus' faction. Marcus Decimus, any state contributions from anybody today?
Not today, thank you.
Round to Numerius Aurelius, any state contributions from your team?
Most certainly. Cato would like to donate 10 talents.
Cato would like to donate 10 talents to the state treasury. So if Quintus Octavius, if you'd like to update the state treasury by 10 talents, please.
Yep.
And who can tell me what is the result of donating money to the state treasury?
It's one
influence.
influence. Yeah.
Yeah, one influence. So right under there, underneath the forum there, to the left of our turn tracker or phase tracker, you can see that 10 talents will gain one influence for Cato the Elder. And the state thanks him for his contribution. That's very good. Quintus Octavius, any state contributions from your squad?
There will not be.
Not today. Across to Appius Rufius. Appius Rufius, any state contributions from your team?
No, not for me.
Not from you. Tiberius Cornelius, your faction, any state contributions today?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. And finally, Mark Wedia, any state contributions from your collective?
Okay, thank you.
That's a no for today. Okay, let's go have a look at our governors up here and ask the pertinent question. So first of all, we can see that Sardinia et Corsica under Governor Furius has permitted 10 local taxes, which is the equivalent of 1 unit at this point in time. Of course, he can plump that up with additional personal treasury. I think he's already made his decision and has purchased an additional fleet for the 10 local taxes. So thank you to Furius, the governor there. And now we'll go across to Scipio Africanus under the Corona faction and Tiberius Cornelius. He gets 30 to spend here, a total of 3 units up to his maxes. So he's going to purchase 1, 2 additional fleets, 3 additional fleets. There we go, to the maximum of 5 fleets available for Sicilia in the province.
Roman navy.
The mighty Roman fleet, yes, just in time for the Second Punic War, I think. Very good. Now, we notice here that the term dials are now clocking over to 3 in both instances. So we're now going to have our governors return to Rome, and these province cards will be placed back in the forum. You could probably leave those term dials with the provinces to make things easier if you like, or leave them out in the map. That's reasonable next to the armed forces. But if you want to bring yourselves home, and by doing that, essentially you just take your away from Rome markers off on your senators back in Rome. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a returned governor marker for your respective governors who've come back to Rome, which indicates to the Senate that they've just come back and they can't go back without their individual consent. That's the rule in there. If somebody can know the exact rule number off the top of their head, bonus points for you.
What does that mean? Apologies. Like,
Sorry.
obviously I understand the concept of the consent, but like, what's that mean in the function of the game, right?
So the Senate, again, essentially through a proposal vote outcome, can send any senator away to be governor. But in the instance when you've just come back from a governorship, you have to have the physical consent from the governor to be able to even be suggested as a proposal in the first place.
Okay, cool. Yep.
I believe.
Yeah, that's what
I believe.
Yeah, I didn't know if that. Sorry.
Sorry.
Ahead, Marcus.
I believe that's also the case if you send a commander with less troops than what their military rating is. Is another example.
That is definitely another example. Very
They
good.
have to agree. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether that was like you could veto it, like an automatic veto, like, I'm not going veto, or whether that was like you said, like
it's essentially kind of veto.
The proposal won't go forward.
Yeah, veto's a good term.
Yep.
Cool. Yep,
No worries,
that's
thank
right.
you very much.
That's okay.
I veto the suicide mission.
I don't think that's come up before. That's why I was asking. I don't think it's been relevant to all.
It has come up once. We have sent a suicide mission before. I believe
last year.
That was with his consent, however.
And it was with his consent. And I believe they stalemated it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like
he survived one turn.
Yes.
I thought it was 2 or 3 turns in a row.
Was it?
So,
It was a good amount.
He fought them off. There were some impressive fights last year. For those who are not familiar, so in our last year 2021 session of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast, we saw some amazing provincial wars with nearly invulnerable governors. I think it was Aurelius actually might have been the man in question. Yeah. He was actually now in Mark Wedia's faction right now, so the Man of Steel. So that's really cool. So yes, we can see our returned governors have come back to Rome. So please, senators, update your vote tallies if you haven't already. They have a special returned governor marker just to let us know that they are in fact freshly back from the front line of our fledgling republic, and they've got their corruption markers there. So they maintain that corruption until after the seating of the first censor seating that they're present for in the Senate phase. So that's a bit of a reminder because they both took spoils during their tenures while out in the field.
I had another point of order.
Yeah.
I have a prior console marker from when I was censor, and that was obviously not last term, but the term before.
When you were console?
No, I wasn't console. I was censor.
Yeah, so you won't have a prior console marker for censor, but you will have one for
Oh.
console.
Yeah,
And
so that
how
stays
long's that
forever.
stay? Oh,
Forever.
okay, stay forever. Okay, cool. No worries.
Yeah, that's right. Once you've earned a prior console marker, you will keep it forever. That's correct. So your
Okay.
guy was a
Yep.
console at some
Okay.
point.
Yeah,
There
okay,
are only
cool. That's
certain
all right.
conditions where you can lose that.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. You can lose that marker through minor prosecutions, for example, which may or may not occur, hopefully in the future. But at the rate that you guys go, probably not. Okay, let's check our flow sheet to make sure we've done everything we need to. We've talked about state contributions. Everything else has been handled by our calculator. We saw no province development this time with the spoils of our governors. We've seen our governors now return to Rome, having finished their tenure. So now that will complete the revenue phase. Very good. We can now bring that in and ourselves to the happy forum phase, folks. So looking at the top of
Time
our
to
sheet
pull the
there.
leader.
Passage of time, remove event cards in the forum. We don't have any event cards in the forum at this moment in time, which is good. We now get to move into the initiative step. So what we're looking for here for those playing along at home, it'll be a 2d6 by our faction controllers, and we're seeing if they get a 7 or not. 7 will invoke the drawing of an event as opposed to a card from our deck. So starting with the HRAO, Marcus Decimus, 2d6 when you're ready. Let's see how this night goes for you. There we go. We see 6, I think. Yes, we see a 6. So that's a card from the deck for you. Take your time. Red faction you get to keep. Black forum will come back out to us. Let's give him a moment to review that.
That stays in my hands.
Stays in your hand. Very good. Any persuasion attempts from you today?
I would like to make a persuasion attempt.
All right. I'm going to bring up the persuasion calculator as well while we talk about this. Who is doing the persuading today?
I'll be my faction leader, Aurelius.
Alias 14.
Alias?
Yep. Very good. And who are you persuading today?
I'll be persuading Scapulus.
Sulpicius 15?
Sulpicius.
Yeah. Cool. The unaligned senator in the forum. That makes sense to me. So talk to me about the influence of the persuader. What's his influence?
His influence is 7.
7. His oratory is
4.
4. That's a nice, good orator. I like that. Now let's talk about the Sulpicius. His loyalty is 8.
8.
Nice. Somebody's doing it for me. Fair enough. He's currently not aligned, and he has no money on his person right now. So we can see that the target die roll right now is a 3, but of course we can sweeten the pot with talents. Would you like to make that any better for yourself?
I would like to add 6 talents to the bribe.
Okay, and that will bring us up to a total of 9, which is your max, really, that the best result you can get. So equal to or less than 9 on a 2d6 is what you're hoping for. So good. We're going to see you add the talents to Sulpicius. That'll go into his pocket to see if that convinces him, and we'll deduct that from Alias's purse. Excellent. I can see that happening as well. Well done. Very good. All right. So 2d6 when you're ready, less than or equal to. Here we go.
Is it meant to be counter bribes as well?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. Obviously.
Like,
Thank you. That is
when
correct.
there's a thing of a thing.
Correct. So let's I'm good. I'm pleased you guys are remembering. So let's go around the room now, starting with Nemurius Aurelius. From your faction treasuries, any counter bribes from you?
Apologies, 1 second.
You're
Just
right.
having a look
Take
at
your
the
take your
calculator
time.
here.
Yep.
So it's a 9 or less, right? So,
Less than or equal to 9 right now. It's very important we allow the opportunity for the factions to use their faction treasuries to make counter bribes, should they so choose, to make it more difficult for Marcus Decimus to make his persuasion attempt.
Now, senators, we do need more senators in the inner line, so we can send them as governors.
Does he get a bribe after we do it? I'm trying to remember correctly. So
that would start the counter bribe rotation again.
Correct. That is correct.
Now, Marcus Decimus, is it we need it or you need it?
Yes.
We all need it. Senators, please.
Okay, we're now going across to the.
I pass, yeah.
You pass. All right, we're now going across to the I never assassinate anyone faction under Quintus Octavius. Any counter bribes from you?
Yeah, I'll put 3 talents from my faction treasury.
All right, please deduct that from your hidden faction treasury for me, please. And now we're going to add 3 to the counter bribes on the calculator on screen. And can you add a separate 3 coins, separate, please, if you don't mind, onto Sulpicius? I'd like to track those separately, if you don't mind. So we'll add 3 counter bribe in there onto Sulpicius. All right, so now the current target dice roll is equal to or less than 6. Let's go across to Appius Rufius. Any counter bribes from your faction treasury, sir?
I'll pass.
You will pass. Cross to Tiberius Cornelius. Any faction treasury counter bribes from you, good sir?
No, thank you.
And finally, Mark Weddy, any faction treasury counter bribes from you?
I have just a question.
Yeah.
When people make a counter bribe, does that also go onto the senator and make the
does.
senator more difficult to
Yes.
get other people?
Yes, it does.
To?
Yeah, so
Does.
all money that we're basically putting forward will stick to that character now.
Correct.
Okay, so he will then have, if it fails this time, it would have 9 on it.
Yes,
That sounds correct to me.
Yeah.
And it's on a 2d6. He's then trying to get 6 or less.
Yeah.
Less than or equal to 6 on a 2d6. That is correct.
Okay. I will leave that and you can roll ahead.
All right. So let's ask the question again of Marcus Decimus. Marcus Decimus is currently less than or equal to 6 on a 2d6. Would you like to add further bribes to that pot?
I'm going to add another 2.
All right. So from the same personal faction treasury alias before, you're going to deduct another 2 from alias and add another 2 to Sulpicius, which will change our number back to less than or equal to 8 on the persuasion calculator. And let's rip around the room again. Nemurius Aurelius, counter bribes.
No, thank you.
Quintus Octavius.
I shall pass.
Appius Rufius.
I pass.
Virus Cornelius.
Pass.
Marco Wedia.
I will pass.
Okay. I think we've got a result here now. 2d6 less than or equal to 8. Let's see how you go there, Marcus Decimus.
6.
Oh, he gets it. Well done. Congratulations. You get Sulpicius with a bit of coin as well. You've been pretty lucky there with both forced and defending against persuasion attempts and money. So there you go. You get another senator to your faction there. Quite eventful. Very good. Let's finish off your turn. Who's going for a knight today?
I'll have Alias go for a knight.
Alias doing all the hard work in your faction. Is he spending any money for the cause?
Yes, he'll put 4 in for the cause.
He'll be a 4. So you got either a 6, a 5, a 4, a 3, or a 2. So just don't roll a 1, essentially.
Yep, that should be. Don't. Cool.
Good. Just
Snuck
got
in.
it. And you deducted everything you needed. You deducted your 4 talents from Alias as well, did you? Yeah, I wasn't watching. Very good. And good. You've just compiled all Sulpicius' money into 1. That's good there. I like what you've done. Very good. Anybody sponsoring any games today?
With the unrest level 0, no.
Okay. And any change of faction leader?
Not at this stage, no.
Oh, let's move across to Nemurius Aurelius and the geriatric faction. I love that so much. With his 2 elder senators there and Cato the elder. Very good. 2d6, sir, when you're ready. Let's see if you get a 7 or not. Oh, now I've got to count. Thanks. 1, 4, and
5.
yeah, not a 7. So that's very good. Go ahead and draw a card from the deck.
Right, draw.
Nice. I like the shortcut. That's good. Red you keep, black comes out.
I keep that one.
Who's flipping the main deck?
Not me.
Who is always
That's the.
who's doing
All right, that card's yours.
the thing with
It's
the
the,
deck?
it's the yellow hand.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I keep it. Yeah.
it's a red text. Any persuasion attempts from you today?
Yeah. Look, let's go for Akalus, or however you pronounce his name.
Give me a ping on the board. Who you looking at?
It's this guy up here.
Ah, yes, I see. Achilles, ID 12,
Achilles.
who's already got 10 on the board here. So let's bring up our persuasion calculator. And
may I just ask everyone? I'm happy to send this guy as a governor if I get him. If there's no counter bribes, I can make that a public deal. Obviously, he's just got 10 talents on him. That's a lot, guys. You know, I think I can take him because I got high influence. But if you want to send him away right away in exchange for no counter bribes, I will make a public deal to that end. But if not, whatever.
Who's doing your persuading?
That'll be Junius.
all right. right, so we have Junius's heavy influence of 17 on the board, oratory of 2. So let's go back now. We currently see with that nice heavy influence, that 10 that's already on the purse is not going to affect the initial roll too much. But let's ask Numerus Aurelius, would you like to bribe from who's doing the bribing? Sorry, that was Junius.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Junius.
is he adding
So
any
put-
bribes to sweeten the deal
Yeah.
of equal to or less than 6?
Put a whole 5 chance on that one, please.
He's a whole 5 talent, so you might as well drag his marker over there just to keep things clean. Just keep that
Yep.
separate to the 10 that's already on Achilles' card.
Can do.
Although you may not need to actually spend that much because that'll take you over the max anyway. So did you want to revise that?
Well, if there's counter
3.
bribes, right? That'll
3. Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah.
that'll
Okay.
just equalise,
Certainly.
right?
Certainly. I just want to ask the question. All right. So let's go around. Quintus Octavius, any counter bribes from your faction treasury?
Not at the moment.
Appius Rufius, counter bribes, faction treasury.
I'll pass.
Stiberius Cornelius, faction treasury, counter bribes.
No, thank you.
Mark Noedia, counter bribes, faction treasury.
No, not today.
Marcus Decumus, counter bribes, faction treasury.
Not today.
And that will leave us there. So it's less than or equal to 9 on the roll there, good sir. So go ahead.
Okay. I just want to make sure I get 2 dice. I always have this issue. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, you have to do 3 clicks instead. Yep.
Hey.
Oh, yes. You do it. So amazingly, I never actually thought he would actually get picked up, but nonetheless, you did. You achieved what was impossible.
I had that high influence, so I thought I might try and leverage it, considering it's kind of impossible for a lot of other people at the moment.
It
So.
helps.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, wow.
So that's good. 2 successful persuasion attempts in the one go. That's very good. Now, if it's okay, I'm just going to close the persuasion calculator while we finish off this phase here. But if you're looking to do your own persuasion calculations, you've got the 2 physical ones down the bottom of the board while I step through the initiatives here. So let's have a question. Who's going to roll for a knight today, good sir?
Mr. Cato, thank you.
Cato, any money for the cause?
Yeah, give him. Put 5 on that one, please.
5, that's an auto. So good. I can see you spending the money there. And Cato the Elder will get his knight. Very good. Sponsoring any games today?
Sorry, what was that?
Sponsoring any games today?
No, thank you.
No. And finally, any change of faction leader?
Just give me a quick second if that's all right.
I like how you've maintained your geriatric faction theme here too, by the way. That's
yeah,
very
thank
good.
you very much. You'll notice most of them are bold as well. So
He's generating a theming bonus.
yeah. Do I get a medal for that? Is there a medal?
I hope you do.
Yeah. I'll swap. I'll swap the level to Cato. Thank you very much.
Nice. With the young'un.
Yeah.
The youngest of the
the
elders.
The elder, the youngest.
Very good. All right, let's move on. Quintus Octavius, 2d6. Let's see what you get.
Oh, that's 3.
Let's re-roll. Yeah, let's re-roll.
There we go.
That's better. That's not 7. Go ahead and draw a card, sir. Red you keep. Black comes back out to the family.
Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, so I'm assuming it's not a red faction card then. Bring that out in
No,
the forum
guys,
for us.
guess who's coming out?
Guess who's coming out? Oh,
Hey,
brilliant. We now have
perfect.
Hannibal joining us,
They'll go straight to the war.
adding 7 straight to the Punic War. So somebody can drag that
Nice.
straight over there and
Luckily,
add
raise
strength
those
to that
extra
war.
legions.
So I bet you guys are pleased that you didn't prosecute that war last turn. That's for sure.
I am.
Oh, yeah, guys. Would have been great.
Yeah, well done. We could probably remove that unprosecuted marker too now, folks. No, let's leave it there. Leave it there. We've got to think about that
I don't
later.
think we've changed the unrest level.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, good. Let's not jump the gun there, GM. Okay, let's go off. Any persuasion attempts for you today, Quintus Octavius?
There will not be.
And who's going for a knight today?
We'll chuck Cato on it. Not
All right,
Cato.
any money?
That's wrong faction. Fabius.
Cool. Fabius, any money for him to help with the
We'll
roll?
put 3 talents down to it.
3. So you're going to get a 6, a 5, a 4, or a 3. So don't get a 1 or a 2 on this roll. So go ahead and roll your 1d6. Just don't get a 1 or a 2. Hey, nice. So money well spent there. Very good. Gets his knight. Any sponsoring in any games today?
There will not be.
And finally, any change of faction leader?
I will be changing my faction leader to faithless.
Changing your faction leader. Another change. Interesting. Very good. We're seeing some changes of leadership. All right, that'll finish off your turn. We're over halfway. Appius Rufius, 2d6 when you're ready, sir. Looking for a 7 or not? Let's have a look. R7, we're going to draw an event. So I'm going to change my view to the event deck, which is up here, random events table. Looking at the early Republic. So when you are ready, Appius Rufius, 3d6, please. And let's see what the event is. 11, Storm at Sea. Somebody want to bring that out for us into the forum from the event card deck? You can
Thank
use
God
the
we
search
don't have a
function.
large fleet.
Storm at Sea is the event here that we're going to play out. Somebody, Quintus Octavius, is searching for it now. And he's
I'm
drawn
going
it
to
out. Very good.
guess half lost fleets.
Let's have a read. So, Storm at Sea is 2d6 Roman fleets, the HRO's choice, deployed or not deployed, but excluding provincial fleets are good. So the governors, well, we don't have any, but they're wiping their brow with relief. They are going to be eliminated up to a maximum of those currently existing. There is no effect on legions, though some may have to be withdrawn. This won't affect you guys because you guys don't have any deployed forces when this was drawn. Blah, 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 blah. This event has no effect on the construction of new fleets. So let's do this right now then. So to the Rome consul, Marcus Decimus, you're going to roll 2d6 now and seeing how many fleets we're going to destroy.
That'll be 7.
7. So that's
we
like
should play my field console, get half losses
everyone
right.
but one.
Yep.
So we're going to see those straight back in the bag. Yep, thank you very much. And we're going to leave one fleet behind. Yeah, that was quite painful. That's quite a heavy loss there. 70 talents worth of navy, is that right?
Yes.
Almost like we should have used the Punic.
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's finish off the turn for Appius Rufius. Any persuasion attempts from you today, good sir?
No.
Who's rolling for a knight today?
Emilius free roll.
Amelius free roll, and he's going to get on a 1d6. He's going to get a 1. Unlucky. Any sponsoring of games today?
No.
And finally, any change of faction leader?
Yes.
Okay, another faction leader change. I'm liking it. Quintus 18 will now become the faction leader for your faction. Okay, across Tiberius Cornelius. Let's go ahead. 2d6 at your leisure, sir. Not a 7. Go ahead and draw a card from the deck. Red faction card you'll keep. Black will come back out to the forum.
I keep it.
You'll keep it. Any persuasion attempts from you today, sir?
No, thank you.
And who's rolling for a knight?
Julius will roll for a knight.
Julius is going to roll for a knight. Any money for the cause?
No, just a freebie.
Freebie, go ahead. 1d6, get a 6 if you can. Ooh, so close, but no cigar. Any sponsoring of games today?
No.
And finally, any change of faction leader?
Yes, my leader will go to Julius.
Yeah, nice. Julius is now going to be the faction leader. And that will conclude your turn. That was a nice quick one. You're one of our most efficient players, I think. Mark Wedia, 2d6 when you're ready. And let's see if you get a 7 or not. One more. We've got 1, 6. And we're going to add a... That's not a 7. Go ahead and draw a card. Red text, yeah. Red text you'll keep. Black text will come back out to us. Quick click and drag. That's it. Bring that into your hand. Have a squiz. So yeah, red text, intrigue, card of type you'll keep. Black text will come back out to us.
So I wish that somebody had agreed to my thing last turn, because then we would have something that would nullify all disasters and standoff numbers for this war. But this person did not agree to this. So I feel very, very disappointed that it did not happen.
Let's prosecute this person.
Yeah.
All right.
Negligence towards Rome.
We have a new war card here. Let's have a look.
Oh,
the Second Macedonian War. Fascinating here. So this is the first we've seen of the Macedonian Wars, yeah, folks? But it happens to be the second one. Now, this is thankfully going to be inactive until attacked or matched. So I guess we've got the matched threat to think about later on. Now, Macedonia is not a province, so it's not currently a revolt. But it now will sit in our inactive wars box until such time as something else happens. Strength 10, it's not to be laughed at. So that'll be.
And we should also note when it does become active, we do have a province it attacks.
Oh, very interesting. Yes, Illyricum and Macedonia. Yes, speaking of which, Yes, the Second Punic War doesn't attack anything. It's always good to check that. But you're right. So we will see the start of provincial wars potentially going forward. So whoever becomes governor of Illyricum, you'll need to consider that potential future threat on the horizon. Yeah, fascinating. All right, Marta, let's finish your turn off. Any persuasion attempts from you today?
No persuasion attempts today.
Who's going for a knight?
Papyrus.
Papyrus is going to go for a knight. Any money for the cause?
God, feels silly. Can I just add 3?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, with 3, you get a 6, a 5, a 4, a 3. So just don't roll a 1 or a 2. Go ahead, 1d6. Don't roll a 1 or a 2. Hey, nice, you get a knight.
Oh,
Well done.
It's actually a perfect number for it too.
Exactly. That was no lost money there. So that was well done. Very fortuitous. Any sponsoring of games today?
No, I just wanted to confirm. Is it 10 to sponsor the lowest level of games?
So if we look at the games table up above us here, we can see the cost
7.
for Slice and Dice is 7, Bloodfest 13, Gladiator Gala 18 talents. There you go. So 7 is the minimum.
Okay. But we don't really need anything at the moment, do we? Oh,
Well,
unrest, all right.
At least from an unrest list perspective, but sometimes you might want the popularity that goes with that. That's up to you.
Okay. We might save it all for next time.
Okay, then.
Thank you.
No sponsoring of games today. Any change of faction leader?
Yes, I was actually going to change as well.
Very good. I think that's what 5 out of 6 factions changing
Yeah.
the faction leader.
All right.
That's very nice.
Well,
Yeah. That's the trend. It's the trend today. Very good. So let's start to wrap up our forum phase here. We see that every one of our 6 factions have stepped through their initiatives, and we come to the element which is putting Rome in order. Let's say order instead, without
So
the
that's
T.
the end of the forum phase, correct?
Not yet. So first of all, let's have all senators holding a major office get a major marker, please. So Rome Consul, Field Consul, Pontifex Maximus, Censor. They will all get major markers, please. So if you've got a purple token on a senator right now, grab a corruption marker, flip it over to the major side, and throw that on his card. Corruption for all. So we're just waiting on the censor to grab one for Furious there as censor. They're in the middle of the board underneath the dice. If you're looking for it, there you go. I think everybody's got their corruption now. Good. And fantastic. And we know so our governors have their corruptions as well, and of course all the concessions there too. Okay. Now that we've done that, because we have the Second Punic War active, we now need to see if a tax farmer is destroyed. So HRAO, when you're ready, please roll a 1d6 and let's see which farm concession gets destroyed. Right, who has tax farmer 6? No, it's already been destroyed. It's in the forum.
Destroyed.
So that'll get destroyed now. So let's throw that into the curia. So that won't come out just yet. Let's just keep that just separate from the senators if we can.
Good thing that wasn't assigned.
Good thing that wasn't assigned. Yeah. But now that's been destroyed, we now get to see if it gets immediately revived. So let's go back over to the curia there. And let's start with the senators here. It's only just Fabius here. There's only one of him. It's a 5 or a 6 on a 1d6 there, Rome Consul. Let's see what he gets. Unlucky. Fabius will stay dead. Tax farmer 6 when you're ready. A 5 or a 6 on a roll. No. So they're both going to stay in the curia for now. That's unfortunate.
Just while we're dealing with dead senators, can I just check? If an elder senator's aging market comes up and they die, do they go to the curia or do they just start anew as a young senator in their existing faction?
So if they are a faction leader, they will stay with you but as a renewed senator. But if they are not a faction leader, off to the curia they go.
Right.
All right, so yeah, there's the 3 there. So remember, it's not like our old aging senators rule and there were saving throws that you could do. So the only safety mechanism that you've got with this aging rule is by being a faction leader. That's the only way you'll keep that senator upon their death. Good. Now that we've done all those parts of the forum phase, let's go ahead and update our vote tallies if you haven't already, folks, and our vote tracker to do that as well. So count up all your oratory plus knights plus disbanded legions. That will be your total votes. Oratory plus knights plus disbanded legions. That'll be your total votes. Shouldn't be any changes to the those battle votes who've got the secondary markers there, so they won't change.
While they're counting those, could you copy me a what's it called, the law proposal votes, if that's all right, Decimus?
You'd like a law proposal one? Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
If that's all right.
That makes things easier, and I'll just rename it to
Yep.
law votes.
Yeah, law votes. Yeah.
Am I as a hover? I'll see if I can actually update the physical
No,
tokens for you as well.
there's no real need. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I was keeping track of them. But if it's on hover,
Okay.
it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's a nice way just to summarize all the different types of votes that you've got. So that's good. Excellent. Well done. Okay, everybody's updated their vote tally markers. I'm just going to whip around the board, see what we've got. So sitting at 18 votes for the faction, Marcus Decimus. 15 votes for the faction, Numerius Aurelius. 5 votes for the faction, Quintus Octavius. 7 votes for the faction, Appius Rufius. 16 votes for the faction, Tiberius Cornelius. And 11 for Marco Wedia. Very good. That will bring us to the end of the forum phase, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring ourselves into the population phase. So if we have a look at our cheat sheet, the thing that's going to happen in the population phase, it's a pretty quick one. We're going to do an update to the unrest level. That'll mean 1 for every drought, which thankfully I don't think we've got at the moment. Does somebody want to check that Macedonian war for us? Although I think it's inactive, it may not cause us issues. And then finally, we will get a +1 for every unprosecuted war. And we do have 1 unprosecuted war here, which is the Second Punic War. So we're going to see an increase of the unrest level to 1, please. So good, Marcus Decimus is on that. And now, like we always get to do, we get to hear from the current Rome consul to give the State of the Republic address. And then afterwards, he'll roll a 3d6 and we'll go ahead and implement the outcome of his speech. So over to you, Rome consul.
Senators and people of Rome, we have grown the great state of Rome. We've gained more external provincial lands, which will bring great prosperity into the heart of Rome. We have spent large sums of our treasury raising our forces. This was done in preparation for the backstabbing Carthaginians, as they've raised their forces to take the vital land that is rightfully ours. I can see in the next year that we'll continue to have to battle both land, sea, as well as political battles with the Carthaginians, and we will come out victorious, no doubt.
Excuse me.
Oh, wow, that was
Thank
loud. Obviously, one of the senators didn't like your speech.
The spectre
that's
of
the risk.
plague. drifting
That's the risk I
across
get
the
for wearing headphones.
Rip
Somebody
headphone
sneezing.
users.
I apologize.
That's all right. That's more amusing than anything else. Thank you very much, Rome Console, for your inspiring sneeze-inducing speech. Let's go and let's
Normally
move
they
my
come
view
in groups
first.
of 2 or 3, so you've got off lightly.
I'm going to change the view to the State of the Republic table here. When you're ready there, Rome Console 3d6, please, and let's see how you went. And let's adjust the vote, the roll by 1 at the end. So you roll an 8 minus 1, which will be 7.
+2 for my popularity.
+2 for your popularity gives us 9.
+2 to unrest.
So it's no total modifier. So you got 1. And so we won't modify the. Oh, sorry, you're reading off the chart. Okay, let's go look. So yes, +2 to unrest. Good. Your thinking is ahead of where my thinking was, but you are correct. We rolled a modified roll of 9, which will add +2 to the unrest level. That is definitely correct, and we've now made that adjustment to our unrest marker to a total of 3 now. Very good. So that's not bad. I think it's still manageable there. And that, of course, now that we've implemented that, brings us into the Senate phase.
Yeah.
I'll update that. But Rome Console, your Senate.
Thank you. I think most importantly out of that roll was we didn't get the manpower shortage. I think that was the most important outcome of that. In that case, yes, we have re-entered the Senate phase once again. I'll be looking to stand down from my position and looking for new consoles for the coming Senate phase. I think one is obvious. We didn't prosecute the Punic War last turn in preparation for Scipio Africana's return. So my first nominee is going to be him, as well as I am going to do a nominee of Fulmius, as we continue to try to spread out some of the influence on senators. So I'll put forward these proposals for consul. I'll hear from Quintus Octavius first.
I will put my new and improved 5 votes against.
I'll hear from Tiberius.
16 in favour.
Marca Vetia.
11 in favour.
I will hear from Aurelius next.
15 in favour.
I'll hear from Appius Rufus.
Make sure you have the
7A.
votes. Good, thank you.
7A, sorry.
Thank you.
And I'll place my 18 votes in favour for the proposal. Scriber, I'll hear the results, please.
Yep, so it's 60 in favour and 12 against.
I believe that proposal has passed.
Very good. So we'll leave the nominee tokens where they are for the moment to remind ourselves. But can I have the current consoles take a prior console marker, please, if they haven't already got one? I think that it'll be new for both of them, so that's good. And you can return your purple tokens back to the central dais for now, because we'll let the new consoles determine who's who. But yes, the current consoles who have just stepped down can take their prior console markers. But we will leave the new consoles to talk amongst themselves over the next week or 2 weeks, because we're not going to play next week. And then they will then talk about their respective proposals, or rather the Rome console out of that discussion will think about their proposals going forwards into the latter week. So we won't play again until November when that rolls around, because yes, as we know, we end our sessions after the election of the consoles to give the consoles time to think about their coming time. So obviously the consoles will be thinking about perhaps the Second Punic War, maybe the Macedonian, who knows. But I think that was a good session. Lots of discussion there. Very interesting Senate session in turn 4. But of course, I'll talk more about that in my end of session recap after I dismiss my senators. But that's been great there. Any final remarks from our outgoing Rome console before we depart for the day?
I won't say I told you so, but no, it was unlikely to happen. It is unfortunate that it did. There's going to have to be lots of kind of discussion about what's the best proposal coming for Rome, because now we're into threatening territory. We really are.
I just want to make a point on that. I mean, yes, there's a stronger war, but we have changed the fixed disaster and standoff numbers to be, much lower on the probability table, which is a positive in one way.
Well, can we have a quick look at that just to
So
see what that?
Obviously 10, 11, and 15 are much more towards the center, and as you know, with the graph, it's how it looks like. So the 9 and the 16 are there.
Because let's just theoretically only look at what the probability of those disasters. So yeah, you go from a 70% victory to an 85% victory, assuming overwhelming numbers. There was an extra 15%.
Yeah, so we have the risk.
So,
that's good.
Yeah. Yep. So halve your risk in that regard. So I mean, you're right that there is the trickier conversation that we have about forces and whatnot. But I mean, I think those numbers are fixed, the disaster and standoff. So
I am sure the future consuls and the greater Senate of the Republic is up to the task.
And a great final remark there. So yes, unfortunately, we won't play next week on Halloween. We're going to be afraid of the bad omens and the monsters there, so we won't play next week. But hopefully, we will be back the week after that. So 2 weeks' time from today. Hopefully, you can join us whether you're watching us live right now or on YouTube in the future. We certainly look forward to your participation and your encouragement of our senators as we step into perhaps a dangerous period of time. But let's get a final walete from our senators as we say goodbye to them.
Thank you, everyone.
Stick around if you're watching live. I'll do my end of session recap. Don't go away. Okay, we are back for our end of session recap for session 5 of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast for 2022. Yeah, wow, what a political drama that we saw tonight in that turn 4 Senate session there. was a relatively clean finish in the turn 5 Senate session. A nice quick consular election there. Everybody was pretty happy going forwards with a new set of consoles. So this time round, it's going to be perhaps appropriately Scipio Africanus with his special abilities there for nullifying disasters and standoffs. And a new contender, Flaminius, 13 from Mark Goetia's faction there. So they will be our consoles going forward when we commence play again in 2 weeks' time. But let's talk about that previous Senate session there. So funny. The Senate collectively went about raising the largest force possible, and then they decided not to prosecute the big war. It was very funny, very piecemeal, and the poor Rome consul under Marcus Decimus had to continue to try and probe to find out exactly what the Senate wanted. Found himself raising one legion at a time. Okay, is this the number? Is this the number you wanted? But in the end, it pans out that that's perhaps not what they wanted, and they went ahead and prosecuted the other smaller war. Thankfully, that came out to be a victory. So no love lost there. But everybody's fears realised as we saw the arrival of none other than Hannibal there, who's adding now 7 strength to the Second Punic War there. So that is an epic punch up that they're going to have to fight their way through. So no doubt we'll see a dictator potentially appointed and a master of horse accompanying that next or this Senate session, turn 5 Senate session that they're going into to give themselves the maximum strength. So we're very likely. Well, actually, it's interesting. I don't know whether they've considered that because they've elected Scipio Africanus. And he might still have the strength there in terms of nullifying the standoff and disaster numbers. But if they want to appoint a dictator, then they're not going to get that special ability because the dictator's not going to be the consul, right? So, yeah, interesting. Some interesting thoughts there. Do they look for brute strength, or do they look for reducing the risk of nullify standoff disaster numbers? And maybe that's a good choice because, with Hannibal there, that's 3, 4, 5 disaster and standoff numbers that they need to dodge against, which gets quite difficult. 9, 10, 11, 15, and 16. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. And not many playthroughs will often see a victory in the first go. Sometimes it may take more. Will they send 2 armies? Maybe they won't have the strength for that, definitely with those numbers. But yeah, very, very interesting voting occurring there. But I'm pleased that senators and factions aren't just blindly voting. They are thinking about it. Playing each other off, playing the Pontifex, not the Pontifex Maximus, although he did use his veto that Senate phase as well. Good to see him flexing his muscle. But right, players are thinking about the decisions there. Maybe is there starting to be some jostling for political influence and power in the Senate now that they've had a bit of an easy run for a while? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm certainly looking forward to next week's, not next week, unfortunately, 2 weeks' time sessions, week 6, session 6, when that comes about. So that will now conclude the end of the session today. Thank you very much for tuning in. We love having people tune in, stand by. Thanks to Poached Trout in the chat there, always supporting us there and with the rules and functionality of the module. And really, I guess until next time, I hope you can be with us. Give us a like and follow if you're watching us on YouTube. And until next time, Walete.